Sounds like. Oh, okay.
We're live, Dr. Art.
We're here.
It sounds like we're live. What's happening, everybody? What's freaking day is today? So happy Wednesday.
It's been pretty good so far.
It's been a good Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
It was like in the 60s. I just rode motorcycles. I was like, I need to ride motorcycles today. So that's what I did.
You're gonna be doing that tomorrow then too, huh?
I gotta buckle down and make work. Somehow or another, I have to get back into the zone of making YouTube videos. People don't understand how much this is a tough gig, guys. You have no idea. The mental strain is just.
I made one today in the middle of everything else too. So.
What's that, bro?
I made one today. I got the engine apart on the Dos Caminos.
Oh, the 305.
Yeah.
You should do a thing on the 305 cylinder heads.
I am good.
You know, the undercut bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's because a lot of people ask about the 305s, and you know, the cylinder heads, the bowls are undercut on them. So it's like it's one of those like little gotchas on those things. Nathan McCree is in the house. Jenny Fertil. What's happening, Jenny? John, 1460. Dickie Farley. What's happening? Dickie Farley, Mexican Spec, the legendary Mexican Spec. Yeah, I think he's on every single YouTube live, automotive live. He just makes.
He is. Yeah, he's on Mondays too. So yep.
He's omnipresent, right?
Yeah. I think there's like 7 of them that uses. Everybody in his family uses his sign in, and just they're all Mexican Specs.
All of Mexico uses his sign in.
That's right.
Joker, Nathan McCree, Magic 4C, KJ Kylie, what's happening? John T01, Buddy Carfano, Sweaty Fat Guy.
Yeah, Bill McKyska, John Public, Sweaty Fat Guy.
Yes, Fubar the Axe. No troll stand a chance around Fubar.
Right. And a fan of yours, you Jeep it.
You Jeep
John
it.
Public. Yeah, you Jeep it. He says hi from South Texas.
I guess I should probably. Mexican Spec also has his own live on Saturday. I had no idea. I'll have to drop in on that. Tim Squire. So let's Mopar Magic 4C. The pain of being a celebrity. No, none of us are celebrities here. We're just people doing our jobs.
That do 2 or 3 jobs all day long.
People think it's all like glorious and stuff.
Yeah, these things just happen.
Honestly, it's about from this side of things, it's about as exciting as painting a room. I mean, it's like literally that's. Joker liked the Mopar Marketplace video. You guys love the Marketplace videos. I'm surprised. Then this one's actually getting halfway decent views. But yeah, I'm going to do more just by popular demand and because they're so freaking easy. It's just I sit here and I go to the Marketplace and go that, and it works great. So yes, we're going to do more of that. And of course, Zero has arrived. Dave Bowen, Engineer Hickory Stripe Hat. He said something foreign.
Okay, peso pancho. He said pretty much what's going on, everybody.
John Q. Public just got home from his job.
Yeah.
What's this now? Warghost. I'm in heat over the idea of a 500 swap 64 Caddy. Sedanville. It's like a seasonal sickness that makes me want to sell my C bodies. Do you have to sell a C body to do your 500-inch swap 60?
Maybe he's only got 600 or 700 feet of driveway.
That's possible. You're only going to fit really one.
Yeah.
Zero is saying, boss, I won't be able to mod tonight. I have to help a friend with some work tonight. Thanks. Bro, you're here anyway, right? You just the spirit of Zero is always among us. It's go do your thing, bro. Let's see. Paul Capizzola, what's happening? Mopar Man 78. They're drifting in, man. They're drifting in.
They're drifting in, yeah.
The regulars.
I had a pretty good crowd for me for Monday night.
Did you?
Yeah. It was like, that doesn't sound like a lot, but it was like 50 at one time. So.
Oh, for you guys that don't know, Dr. Art does a live every Monday night at 7 o'clock on his channel. Dr. Art's Hot Rod Rehab, which you should all be subbed to. Orange juice. Rich, creamy orange juice.
I talked to Jeff on Monday, and a clutch is going to be a minute yet.
The clutch is when?
It's going to be a minute before we get the clutch.
Yeah, it's going to be 2 weeks before we get the cylinder heads, and it'll probably be another 2 weeks or a month before we get the clutch.
Yeah, because he talked to the guy at Crower, and the guy's like, "Well, the guy who makes our flywheels, we can't find him."
We should just stick a torque plate in the thing and
do a 2-speed, with a big converter and call it good.
Don't need a big converter, the opposite.
Yeah.
Let's see. Junkie Public says I should change the oil in my wife's Jeep, but it can wait one more day. Yes, it can always wait another day, man. It's not that important. Anyway, make her change the oil, bro.
Yeah, it's her Jeep.
And Mexican Spec just put the link to Dr. Art's channel, so you guys can go over there and sub to Dr. Art and watch the videos and share his rhetoric and propaganda.
Do you see Glenn Webster up here? The comment about 705.
Well, I just clicked on this one. I came here, Littlefoot. I came here just to ask where can I find shift linkage for a 61 Impala 283 with a Power Glide. The column shift linkage, floor shift linkage. I mean, I don't have any idea, but maybe somebody in here can help you. Okay, what was I looking for?
Glenn Webster, 705.
Glenn Webster. What's happening, Glenn? I have a 1974 Dodge Chinook motorhome in straight condition that someone puked Edelbrock all over it. On it. No more vehicles. No more vehicles. I am going. So I rode around on bikes today. I rode all my some of my motorcycles today, and I was like thinking, plans forward and so on and so forth. And I know definitely what I'm going to do with the Belvedere now. Okay, and it's something Dr. Art and I had talked about like last year, but I know the direction I want to go with it now. So I got to put that together a little bit tighter. So yeah, I'm not building any more cars. I'm just going to work with the stuff that I have right now, and I've got some plans now.
A motorhome would be fun at the toilet bowl.
Well, get it. Get a motorhome, man. You need a motorhome.
Funny you say that. My wife's father, who lives with us now, he just bought one yesterday. It's in my driveway.
Nice. Oh, like a whole motorhome?
Yeah, well, it's a Class C, so it's like a truck front and thing in the back. It's a 22-footer. It's a Jayco. It's like 2 years old. It's got like 5,000 miles on it. It looks like brand new.
Does it have a trailer hitch?
Yeah.
We may have to borrow that. That's the perfect going to the track rig.
Yeah.
Fubar just put up the link to my merch. So if you want some of my hats or some of my shirts or any of the other fine, rare items, rare, very rare. You can only find them in our store. That's where you go. UncleTony'sGarage.com. And thank you, Fubar. Put Kathy Bananas to work. She's been slacking off.
Right. Go 2 down from there.
2 down from
where you're at right now.
This one?
Yeah.
Tony, how actual rare are the 66, 67 Hemi Chargers? I read an article about a guy who just bought one saying that you have to know somebody to acquire one of these. They're not particularly rare. 66 was the biggest year for street Hemi production. The most common street Hemi car was a 68 Roadrunner, which I actually happen to had. 66, 67 Chargers. I don't know what the actual production number is, but it's got to be a couple hundred. There's got to be at least a few hundred, and they do pop up. The 67 Hemi Charger has a unique feature that no other Charger had. It came with a trunk spoiler. It came with a 3-piece trunk spoiler that they stuck it in the car. It was to be installed by the dealer. But if you ordered a 67, only 1967, not 1966, the 67 Hemi Charger, it came with a dealer installed trunk spoiler. I guess because
never seen one.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. See, back in 66, 67, like that, racers would literally go to the dealer and order a new car, buy a new car, and then turn that into a race car. And this was a common thing. So those cars had aerodynamic problems at the speeds they were running because of the fastback. Tried to lift the back of the car. So they added, this in 67, they threw in that, the spoiler. So, and I've only seen one of them actually installed in the flesh on one of those cars. So it is super rare. Let's see.
And then Buddy Carafino's got a good question. It's a Chrysler question.
They're all Chrysler questions.
Yeah. It's like Ford, yeah.
Well, what was the purpose of reverse lug nuts? Chrysler actually took that from the railroads. On locomotives of the era, they used to make the threads on the right side, whatever, as it's rotating. They made them so that if for some reason the lug nut was, or the bolt on the connecting rods was left loose, the rotational force of it would actually tighten it instead of having it unscrew. So that was the purpose of that. So for some reason, I guess Chrysler did the same thing as well. If somebody accidentally leaves the lug nuts loose, if the reverse thread on that side, they won't loosen and fall off. The rotation of it will cause the nut to stay kind of in place. And that was the reason behind the reverse thread lugs on those cars. And it lasted until 1972. I think 1972.
Big Richard had 3 left-handeds because they took a passenger side front hub.
Yeah.
Put it on the driver's side, so I had 3 lefts and 1 right.
Yeah, I've had that too. I've done that myself. It's like, oh, I need a hub, but all I have is this one, and yeah, been there, done.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ford CD Burlock is saying hit the like button, and I agree with him. I think everybody should hit the like button. It helps the channel. It helps Dr. Art's ego. When he doesn't see a lot of thumbs up, he gets very grouchy. We don't need to Dr.
Some days Thursday is I don't even get out of bed.
You see? 19 Paul Capozzolo is saying 1970 was the last year. I mean, it could be. I'm guessing. No, man. Maybe on the B bodies, maybe on the larger cars. On the A bodies, it was reverse thread until 72. 72 was the changeover year for that. A bodies and B bodies were different. Let's see. Alan McElroy, have you seen bad PCV valve to cause oil blow-by and make engine bay look messy? It can. I mean, first you need an engine that's not feeling all that well, right? And then if you take away the benefit of that crankcase ventilation, then yeah, it could spew a little bit.
The vent side just gets oily, messy. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's already weak. It's already weak. John Vaught. My 1975 20-foot Prowler double axle trailer has reverse lug nuts. Well, it was a thing that happened in all different areas, but people know the Chrysler product from that, and that's because every single mechanic, one of the first things you did as a teenage mechanic in the 1970s was take a flare gun and snap all of the lug nuts on. Yeah, everybody did that.
All the lug nuts on your mom's car so she could
Yep.
go to work. Yep. Yeah.
That was one of those little details that like made people like, oh, screw Chryslers.
The hell were they thinking? Yeah.
Let's see. Sub-Zero Mike. What's up? If I lap grind the valves a little bit, will they sink a little bit and the lifters will compensate the sunk, or have I to worry about?
I don't think by lap grinding a valve it's going to create enough valve height to do anything.
Yeah, no. You got to go through the multiplication factor of the rocker to calculate it out. No. So typical hydraulic lifter is going to have between like 10 thousandths and like 30 thousandths preload. And that's because production tolerances are sloppy on those engines. The decks are a little bit different. The cylinder heads are a little bit different. There are enough variances in there that those lifters have enough of a cushion before you run into the danger of like premature pump up. There's enough in there to compensate for a lot. So if you take a thousandth or two off the valve seat, don't worry about it.
I think every like valve job I've done on 46 cylinder heads where I just lapped them until they were shiny and sent them and never had a problem with any of them. So.
Oh, Brian Power, that's interesting. It ain't just Chrysler. I have a 95 F700. That's a heavy duty unit.
It's a unit.
It has left and right lugs too. I wasn't aware of that. Person on YouTube today. Best carb for daily use with good performance. Quadrajet. It's a good one. Your limitation with the Quadrajet is heat, and especially with today's gas. The problem with the Quadrajet, and I love Quadrajets, don't get me wrong. I know the carburetors very well. I've used them in a zillion applications. I've rebuilt a zillion of them. So I'm not talking shit about the Quadrajet. He hates Quadrajets. Nothing like that. The main problem with the Quadrajet is a problem it's always had from day one. It has a very small, centrally mounted float ball, where every other usual carb, like Carters, have two float balls. They're out on the side. Hollies have two float balls, one in front of the other, one at the front, one at the back. The Quadrajet has one float ball and it's dead center in the carburetor. And because of that, it's very sensitive to heat soak. They're prone to boiling over. And this isn't a problem just with today's gas. This was a problem in 1966, 1967 when they first introduced them. And carburetor history, the Carter Thermoquad, which is known as a Chrysler carburetor, was not originally a Chrysler carburetor. Chrysler didn't start using them until 1971. The Thermoquad was introduced as a replacement for the Quadrajet in 1968, right? And Thermoquad, and the reason for the plastic was to handle the heat dissipation and heat soak problems that the Quadrajet had. So that's the biggest problem. Now, that was in 1967, 1968, when they had gas that was far more suited to carburetors than the stuff we have today. So that only amplifies the problem. You'll end up with boiling over, vapor lock, all sorts of nasty little problems. So it's for that reason by itself that I say the best overall all-around carburetor you're going to find for street use is Edelbrock. A copy of the Edelbrock, either AFB or ABS. Do you disagree with anything I just said, Dr. Art? Did anything I say make any sense?
No, it did. You just failed to mention that, those thermoquads, to fight the heat, but when the heat got to them, they warped and you had to throw them in the garbage.
Yeah, that was well. Sometimes over tightening them. I did that in Englishtown one year. I had a thermal quad on. I forget what car it was. It was one of the cars I used to street race a lot, and I put a thermal quad on it just to play around with it. I took it to Englishtown. I made some runs with it, and I wanted to do a jet change on it. So I took the top of the carburetor off, made my jet change, put it back together again, and as I forgot that it was tightening the thermal quad, and crack, and it split the bowl. So I ended up driving the car 22 miles home. Right, you're gonna love this, right?
Yeah.
It still had the windshield washer bottle in it, right? So what I did was I took it out, I emptied it out, I ran the hose from the washer nozzle to one of the vacuum ports at the bottom of the carburetor, and I drove the car home 22 miles from Englishtown to my house, pushing the wiper button like this the whole way home, the wiper washer button the whole way home, just to give it squirts of gas. And it ran fine, man. Route 9, right? It was just motoring along 60 miles an hour, just punching that button like that. Mad Joe 20. Hey, Tony, I know how you love the XJ Jeeps and their inline, so I thought I would tell you that down, I keep seeing these Mexican XJ dragsters that are wild. They really love them and make them send. I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that. I'll look into that. Mexican XJ dragster. Okay. Thank you, Mad Joe. Let's see. What year did Mopar start using radial tires? 73.
I was going to say 73, 74, somewhere in there. Yeah.
73 on the B bodies. That was part of the redesigned front suspension on them. And then the A bodies used bias tires. I think the F bodies were the first smaller cars. So 1975, because there was an overlap there between or 1976 it was for the F bodies. Todd D5P, more bike content, please. Talk about the hobby in general. Maybe tell some stories of your two-wheel adventures. Well, I've most of my two-wheel adventures led to like hospitalization, and I've tried to forget as many of them as I can. At this stage of my life, I try to keep my riding as adventure-free as possible. But yeah, I definitely going to do more bike content. I love bikes. I just love bikes.
Does Kathy have pictures of you in crutches and things like that she could put up for thumbnails?
There are no pictures, man. We were never a picture taking people. So
okay.
like there's like family events and stuff like that, but I never, I don't take pictures as a rule of thumb. She does. I show it on my phone. I have no pictures on my phone. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not a picture person. Have you ever seen me walk, Dr. Art? Right. That's all the picture you need.
And like a skinny old toddler. Yeah.
Right. Like Tony used crutches and wheelchairs. Well, a wheelchair, but yeah, crutches many times. There was a period for a few years where I was like only on crutches. I had one crash after another. So I was still on when I shattered my tibia. I was still on crutches from my broken ankle. Let's see. Joker, Tony Art, Ford Panther body, 2011 or a GMB body, 1996?
Well, they're probably a horse apiece, but probably the Panther at this point because those GM B body ones are harder to find anymore.
Yeah, I'm gonna go along with that.
When you talk to some of the old guys that were cops from 20, 30 years ago, they love those B body 4-door police cars because they go out they do the redneck thing and they'd flip the air cleaner lid still like whoa, but they're chasing.
The frog feeder. Can we please talk about manual steering boxes from 60s, 70s trucks? I never really thought of that as its own category. You know what I mean? It's like its own, separate topic of discussion. Cast iron?
They seem to work, but
I noticed
the
that.
drag link that goes in between that big arm and your front suspension is usually it seems fine. What's the Frogger? What's the actual issue?
Yeah, zero in on that a little bit.
Yeah, we can talk about it, but we need a.
Oh,
he did on the bottom. Yeah,
I gotcha. Okay, thank you, frog feeder. What fluid? Gear lube. How to adjust? All different. You're gonna have to look for the exact adjustment procedure for the box that you're working on. How do I know if it's bad? You can't get a new one. As a rule of thumb, steering boxes go bad really one way, and that's where it'll wander. So you'll hold it. Now, this is saying that you've already looked at the front end, okay, and the ball joints are okay, and the tie rod ends are okay, and the center link's okay, and the drag link's okay, and all of the joints aren't sloppy and crazy and shit like that. So we're presupposing all of that, and that the alignment is okay. But what will happen is when a steering box goes bad, typically you hold the wheel straight, okay? And as you go over a bump or any unevenness in the road, it'll steer. And you have to chase. Right. Yeah, you got to chase the truck's or the vehicle's direction with the steering wheel. So it's basically the wheel will lead the steering, or the car will lead the steering, and you correct with the steering wheel. When that dynamic that's normal, goes backwards, 99% of the time it's a steering box. Pick one, Dr. Art.
Broke Joker ATV right there, down there in the bottom. Do you think throttle body cars are cool to hot rod? Let's say 80s Camaro, or do a carb swap. I would not carb swap, me personally. Something that was born with fuel injection, unless the fuel injection goes bad and you can't get parts and you don't understand it and it hates you, then rip it off and do a carb swap. But if it's running,
yeah, I agree with him on that. If it's a driver, like I would not attempt to hot rod a throttle body car. I think that's just pissing in the wind.
True. But yeah, if just for looks, I mean, just you can make it look like it's a carb car, same chrome and paint and air cleaners and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, if it's a driver or something it's stock, it's intact, and you just want something cool to drive or cruise in, leave it alone. But yeah, if you're gonna hot rod the thing at all, I mean, at all, really, don't waste your time with a throttle.
Yeah, because you put a baby cam in it, and the fuel injection won't know what to do, and it'll never run. So just then at that point, yes, then you rip it off and put the carb on.
No, but they're all CFM challenged. I mean, the throttle body you're pulling the same as the equivalent size 2-barrel carburetor. So, they were never intended for performance.
Yep.
For the most part. I know there were exceptions. But fuel injection didn't really become palatable for performance until the tune port setups started showing up. The TPI Chevys and the 5-liter Fords. The frog feeder. It wanders. New drag link. Kingpins are good. Tie rod ends coming. Truck drives just like Uncle Jesse's truck. Lots of movement in the wheels. Lots. Yeah, a good chance of that. And I tell you what, bro. Take a good look at the frame rail that it's bolted to, because I've seen that many times, especially on like if it's a Mopar.
That's very cracks. Yeah.
Yeah, they crack. You won't see it at first. Like you have to have somebody turn the wheel, get your face under there, and have somebody turn the wheel, and because there were braces on there to keep it from doing that. But generally speaking, like when like backyard mechanics, and if it's 60 years old, it's already been through the mill a couple of times. They'll swap a steering box. They'll leave those reinforcement brackets off, and it'll crack the frame rail right around where it bolts on there. So I would definitely look at that.
You mentioned something about leaf spring bushings too, and that could, if it's a leaf spring front end,
yeah,
like Dodge, yeah.
$72.20 is saying, it's been a while since I rebuilt the steering box, but I want to say the proper torque when adjusting the pinion is about 12 inch-pounds. For which box? What spec are you going by? Okay, Frog Feeder is saying the frame rail is good. The play is in the box itself for sure. My buddy looked the shaft to the lower arm wiggles as it turns. Yeah. How rare is it that you can't get a new one? What kind of vehicle is this, Frog Feeder? Yes, Justin Picerno. We put a new steering box on a Kenworth T800, and it went from death wobble to one-figure driving. Yeah, if you come up with some mysterious death wobble, a lot of times that happens with the Jeeps. And even if they're not lifted, stock tires or stock tires. I actually had this happen, where this thing would it didn't do it all the time. After the tire started to wear, when you got to about half thread and less, you'd hit a bump, and if you didn't hit it exactly straight on, and it was just, you couldn't believe the way this thing would take off. And I scoped out every possible square inch, every connection, every measurement, everything. Couldn't come up with the answer. And as it turns out, the steering box had just that much play in it. And I didn't realize it until I jumped from that one into another one that had a good steering box and no problem. That you could just feel that slight difference. It doesn't take much to set up death wobble when you've
when I lived in Vegas, I traded a guy some, I think it was a Galaxy or something, for a bunch of money, and he bestowed me a short bed Dodge pickup truck on Swampers. And it was great for going out in the desert, but yeah, you get the thing on the freeway. Like I said, you hit a bump and
death wobble, man. A lot of people have never experienced it. And when you do, it's like the first time you run into like highway speed death wobble, it's a life-changing experience, because you realize how little control you have over stuff. Okay, so he's got a swept line. It's a Mopar.
Okay.
And you can't find a steering box for that?
Yeah, that seems.
Because they use that steering box like universally in those trucks until, oh God,
forever.
1972.
Yeah.
As 507 Jaybird. Did Wild Willie Borscht have a bad steering box? Wild Willie Borscht was a relatively smaller guy. He looks big. He looks very burly, but he was relatively small. And the car was built, the first car, the first Wing Express, the one that's actually, there's a picture of it right there, had a wide seat and a wide roll bar. So he found it was easier for him to drive the car if he just hung on, steer with the left hand, and you're going to use the right hand for the brake anyway. So it's not on the steering wheel. So he would just brace himself on the car and steer with the left. So that's where that whole one arm driving thing came from. And like fun Wild Willie Borscht trivia, when he went to Funny Cart in 1973, he was known as One Arm Willie. That was his nickname, One Arm Willie, right? The Wild Willie Borscht, the One Arm Willie. As a gimmick for that, they took a mannequin arm and put a fire, a sleeve from a fire suit and a glove on it, and fixed it to the window. So it looks like he's driving the funny car, holding on to the body of the car, but that's just a dummy arm. Another fun Wild Willie Borscht trivia fact. He was an extremely, and this is from accounts of people who knew him. He was an extremely difficult person, right? He had his way, and that's how it was going to be. When he went to the Funny Car, he had a Revell sponsorship, and they insisted that he run a late model Hemi, and because that's what they were building, for the models. They didn't want to have to revamp the model for his car, so they wanted them to run a late model Hemi. So he had always run Chrysler Hemis. He had always run, early Chrysler Hemis. So as a rebellion to Revell, he put a big block Chevy in the Dodge Charger Funny Car. This is the lengths that this guy would go to just be like, "Oh, screw you." Let's see, I'm scrolling up. Nick D'Angelo, UT, are you talking Turbo Buick? Stop teasing me with thumbnail pics. I don't pick the thumbnail pics. Kathy does. But if I'm not mistaken, let me. I don't know what the thumbnail looks like. So just hang on a second here.
Yeah, it looks like you in a Turbo Buick and some kind of looks like a.
Is it me in the Turbo Buick?
Yeah, it looks like somebody like maybe a Pontiac in the next lane, but you're
Okay.
in the middle of a burnout. Yeah.
Yes, that's from a drag test I did on that car in 1986 for Cars Illustrated magazine, and that was the very first turbo Buick to run in the 13. So I ran 1385, 13, I don't know, something 1385, 1383, 1388, whatever the hell it was, in that car during that drag test. And then like 2 weeks later, Car and Driver ran 1390 with theirs. But I was the first and the fastest. Damn it. Damn it. Let's see. Wargo's talking about his caddy. I love my C-bodies dearly, but the pure cost savings having an old GM is hard to argue with. Then with 64 caddy styling on top of that, it's hard to argue. They're just gorgeous. I know. Anyway, how do yours ride Mexicans? Oh, okay, he's talking about Mexican spec. It's hard. That caddy that Jeff has, was that 61?
Yeah, it's a 61. That 61 Eldorado.
What a beautiful car! What a beautiful car!
And they ride. I mean, it's more comfortable than you're sharing your living room. You don't even know you're just moving along in the universe on a cloud.
But really hard to work on those cars, man. Really hard to work on. Like the grills on those are all individual pieces. It's like an 800 piece front grill.
Yeah. Ooh. He asked, "Hey, can you do?" I'm like, "No, I'm not touching that car. It's too nice. It's too nice for my anger issues."
Right. What's that?
About 3 up from the bottom. Gabriel.
Gabriel Marco. What is the lowest tire pressure you can safely run for traction at the strip? Depends on the tire. Depends on the construction of the tire, the weight of the car, and on to go back to the top fuel cars, we were running 4 pounds, and you'd tune it with a 1/4 pound. You'd run 3 3/4 pounds in one tire, depending on the track and how the car was working, right? You'd run 3 3/4 pounds, or you'd run 4 1/4 pounds. So I think that's pretty much about as low as you're going to find. Typically you're going to find 12 pounds, 18 pounds, like that. But it depends on
14, 16, yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah, it depends on the construction of the tire, the intent of the tire, the weight of the car, the power level of the car. There's so many different things. So don't go by what just, or any random. Contact the manufacturer and ask them. I'll tell you what.
On the Ranger, I run 16 pounds, and on other cars, I've had to run 20, 25, because it's just how the car's set up. Yeah.
It's dangerous too. Back in the day when I spent a lot of time making a lot of passes in a lot of different cars, we would drop tire pressure. Nitro cars. I'm talking about like street cars, street race cars, and stuff like that. And we would keep dropping tire pressure to get the bite. But then what happens is you get the wrong tire or the wrong combination, and you go a little bit too low on the pressure. Now you get the thing to stick, but then you spend the second half of the run going like this down the track, because the back of the car starts to do this. And then once it starts doing that, it don't stop. It just don't stop. So you learn to drive through it, but it's freaking dangerous. So tire pressure is important. I'll leave the next one to you, Dr. Art.
Well, Ram Man just picked up a good one right there on the bottom there.
Ram Man. I'm doing a mildly built 440, stock rods and pistons, whiplash cam, Holly Street Dominator, and an Uncle Tony Port. Okay. What size carb? Putting it in a 78 short bed D100, 800 Edelbrock. Just stick an 800 Edelbrock on it, and be happy forever. I mean, that's.
It's about it's the right combo for it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I have on my on the Charger. That's same thing you've got there. Okay, and yeah, 800 Edelbrock, and it's perfection. It's perfection.
Olive is here.
Olive is in the house. What's happening, Olive? I'm waving back to you. Road Ready Rick, 33-inch tire height, 4-wheel drive. What would be your preferred gear ratio for a daily, all-around, everywhere driver? 33-inch tall tire, all-around, everyday, daily driver.
Well, there's a lot of questions about vehicle height and weight, and
yeah, but it's not about just driving it now. With 33s, 410s, 456s, someplace in that range. You got, one of the problems because I know you're going to want to drop RPM, right, as much as you can. You'd be tempted to say, well, I'll run like 355s, 391s, like that, in that range. The problem is there is so much rotational mass that you've got to, just daily driver wise, accelerating from stoplights and just normal maneuvering through traffic. You're gonna end up burning a ton of fuel trying to save RPM. So I would say ballpark of 456, mid four ratios for that.
Nick D'Angelo has got a question for me up there. He said, Dr. Art, will you or can you, tuning on the factory computer controlled quadrijet, on the El Caminos. That's something never done before. Well, it ain't going to get done now. Sorry to say, but the 79 doesn't have computer control. The 82 does, but all that computer harness is it's like an inch away from the garbage can at this point, because it's going to get just a. I may use that carburetor on it because it's got all the right linkage and everything. It'll bolt right on, and but it's not going to do anything with the computer control and the carburetor or any of those systems and stuff like that. And the lockup, because that turbo 200 is just a 3-speed. It's not a 4-speed turbo 200. It's just going to be on a switch. So, and it's regular HEI, not computer controlled. So it'll just run like a car.
72Z20 is saying a Jeep with a 4.0 is pretty happy with 410 axles on 33s. Okay.
Yeah.
I would go a tad deeper than that, but yeah. Power Toys is driving an Olds 330 wagon cross country. What would be the best all-around carb? Edelbrock should freaking put me on their freaking payroll. You know what? I think I have sold more Edelbrock carbs than anybody alive. Right?
You should see his face when he has to work on a Holly. Ah!
I hate the freaking things. I've been working on them forever. I got them on a bunch of cars because they work best for certain applications. But man, I regret every minute I spend with a freaking Holly. A 600 Edelbrock. Throw a 600 Edelbrock. Or the Summit carburetor. Look at the Summit carburetor.
The Summit carburetor is gold.
It is.
Those, and for drivability and stuff like that, you can't beat them. They're not going to make the power like a Holly, but they're for drivability, and you get one with electric choke and the cold start and everything. It's flawless.
Yes. So the Summit carburetor is a superior carburetor to the Edelbrock, but I would choose the Edelbrock for the commonality of it. The parts are everywhere. They're dirt cheap. You go on Facebook Marketplace right now and buy a bunch of them for $25, $50 each. Where the Summits aren't quite as, which I mean, if you're just going to buy new and bolt it on the engine and forget about it for a couple of years, it doesn't make any difference. But if you're like me and you like to tinker and the Edelbrock definitely gets the edge on that.
Mm-hmm. And Daniel Valdez has a question he posted a couple times here. He's 3-4 down from where you're at.
Daniel, my 77 Sporty keeps popping the main fuse. It only does it with the taillight bulb and the socket. All the wiring looks good. Only does it with the taillight bulb and the socket. That's interesting.
And it pops the main fuse too, not just
That's interesting. I don't know. Only does it with the taillight bulb and the socket. So, Dr. Art, what could this possibly be? It's an 1157 bulb. It's a standard socket.
I don't think it's the bulb. What I'm thinking right away is there's your taillight power and something for maybe the coil or something in the ignition. Those wires are touching somewhere in the harness.
Oh,
you put in the taillight bulb and it dead shorts and it pops that, because just the taillight itself, even if you threw it away and put a new one on and it didn't change, it's not going to pop the main fuse.
I got to think about that, Daniel.
Or something up in the switch, the switch, the pedal. There's something that's together that's not supposed to be together.
But only when the bulb is in it. See, that shouldn't make any difference.
Well, the bulb completes the circuit, right? And if it's, it's the power on the bulb and the ground on something else, and
I gotta think about that. I've never come across that. Buddy Carfano, gotta love Holly fuel bowl gasket leak. Fuel bowls no big. Fuel bowls just small potatoes, man. It's when the O-ring in the needle and seat assembly just decides to go bad out of the blue. It's when the throttle body or the main body and the metering plate kind of like lose their flat surfaces, and he starts sucking through those little passages. Oh, please.
You don't have an air cleaner, so you suck in a bug and an air bleed, and yeah.
Scoop is on his way out tonight. Scoop. We'll see you soon. World of Woodchip is saying Sportsters also have auto reset breakers. Yes. 77 would definitely have auto reset breakers, but it would also have 3 glass fuses. The main is an auto reset, and then it's got, I forget how many glass fuses, like three or 4 glass fuses. Huh.
Yeah, maybe even see something maybe in the fuse box or something.
Okay, wait. We'll go back to, who is that now? What was his name? Daniel,
yeah.
So he's right about that the main in that thing should be a breaker and not a fuse. Okay, what's the amperage on it? What amperage fuse are you breaking? Are you blowing? And I'm assuming a couple of people bringing it up like fun with cars. Make sure that it is an 1157 bulb. It's supposed to be an 1157. Because if you're using a fuse, that extra little load from the taillight might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Like it might be right there on the edge, and then that's pushing it over. So, I mean, do you have like a 10 amp fuse in there, a 5 amp fuse, 10 amp fuse? That's the kind of thing I wish I had it here so I could dig. I love digging into stuff like that.
Yeah.
Dean Stevenson is in the house. What's happening, Dean? You can see what we're up to. Well, yes. You caught us. Did you leave a like, Dean? Did you leave a like?
Did you leave a like? Before you're allowed in, did you leave a like?
I'm looking to see if okay, here it is. Daniel Valdez. It was wired by the previous owner. It's got a 30 amp main fuse, ran fine with no problems for a long time. And then it just started popping that fuse with the tail light. I don't know. Does it blow right away? Does it blow immediately, like as soon as you hit the brake? Or is it the kind of thing that happens like after a few?
Yeah, after riding all day, then yeah.
Well, let's go back to this one with him. Whatever, 1968. Is it okay to run aftermarket pistons with a stock crank and rods without balancing the assembly? I just read over my shop receipt from 5 years ago, and it looks like they never balanced anything. Here's your rule of thumb, okay? If the piston is the same weight or lighter than the original piston, don't worry about it. Send it. If it's heavier than the original piston, which is rare, swapping pistons, but if it's heavier, then you can run into a balance issue. But if it's lighter, the pistons are the least factor in the balancing of an engine. Obviously, the big end of the rod is the most important factor because it's closest to the rotating mass. Then the small end of the rod and the piston and all that have a lesser value. So if it's the general rule of thumb is if it's a lighter piston than stock, just don't worry about it. Michael Phillips, is there bad blood between Tony and Freiberger? I don't think I'm David's favorite person. There have been many incidences over the years, way before YouTube, going back to like magazine things where stuff comes back to me. You know what I mean? And I have no problem with David now. He took a shot at me on that Engine Masters show, I think it was, with the piston offset deal. Him and Dulcich. Dulcich apologized for it. I never heard anything from David. I wish him luck. I know what he's up against. I know what he's up against, and I kind of feel for him. I know you know I feel bad.
That's
for him.
quite a fall from grace when you're getting paid, unlimited budget and things, and everyone's doing the show for you, and you got all these people on staff, and then all of a sudden you're in a fucking $500 Duster going cross country with a GoPro.
Right, and he's trying to play this YouTube game, trying to keep up with people like Vice Grip, which is like, how do you even think? Oh, I'll compete with that. No, he has his own universe, and he has his own planets that orbit around him. And it's just like, no, let him play that game. He owns that game. So I feel a little bit bad for David. I know what he's up against. I know what it's like to try to make content every week. But I do it 3 or 4 times a week, so I know what he's up against. So I have no problem with him. I have no problem with him. Whether he's me, I don't know.
Yeah. Destrow 7987, right in the middle there.
Okay. Good evening. Good evening, Destrow.
Good evening.
I remember that it was common to see 70s Novas, Camaros, and Firebirds dog tracking to their own thing. I had a stroke. Dog tracking going down the road. I assume it was broken leaf springs. Bad engineering. It was dumb engineering. Okay, dumb engineering. When they went to the ISO clamp rear suspension, so the shock mount, the plate with the shock mounts and the U-bolts and all of that. They put a piece of rubber in there, and the pin is undersized, so there's a locating pin, and it just barely makes contact with the plate, with the shock mount plate. So what'll happen is over time, it'll start to move, and then finally, whoop, it's gone. And so the axle will shift. When the axle shifts, it goes down the road sideways. That was such a common thing.
It was, yeah. If anyone that's around our age, you say, "Oh, it's dog tracking," they don't think it's a dog; they think it's a Nova. Broke Joker, you're on the bottom there.
Broke Joker. I've seen a lot of mid-1980s GM to late 90s, like Caprice Monte, Camaro, all seem to have lost spark. Is it common on these GMs? Well, those are all just normal HEI.
They're mid-90s. They're the computer-controlled HEI, but it's still just an HEI, and yeah, they just modules burn up and
modules.
And then at that point, people just go
modules. Or
they go to O'Reilly's and they get a white box module and it runs for 3 days and dies again. And
right, or they buy one of them Chinese HEIs, they drop it in, and 2 months later it's dead. Mm-hmm. If you come across the old modules, if you go into a junkyard and you come across an HEI in there, grab the modules. Those things they're like gold. Just like the same way if you're dealing with a points ignition system, you're going through a boneyard and you happen to find something that's got like a 30, 40, 50-year-old condenser on it, grab it.
Grab it, it's gold. That's what I did for this first Monte Carlo. I bought the cheap Chinese HEI.
Yeah.
The computer-controlled one, but I kept the old one because even though it's seized up, I'm like, no, I'm going to swap the modules before I put this Chinese HEI in. It'll be fine.
Yeah, that's the other thing that ever goes wrong with them. Really, the pickups are okay and the coils are okay. It's the modules. And Fubar just put up the link to my merch yet again because he wants to see us succeed. Yes. So if you follow that link to UncleTony'sGarage.com, you will find our shirts and our hats and other mysterious things that pop up here and there that Uncle Kathy puts on there. So go over there and check it out. And then there's also Dr. Art. He also sells merch, much better quality merch than I have. Better materials, better things on it. It's just dumb logo, right? I mean, it's just stupid. But he's got good sayings and other things on his.
What are you wearing today?
What am I wearing today?
Internal combustion.
Yeah, because I have like 1,000 of these shirts. We over-ordered.
So please buy an internal combustion.
Yeah. Well, people who don't know me, like they just see me every day, like at the supermarket or getting gas or whatever. They think I only own one shirt. But I have like 1,000 of these, and I'm obligated to burn through them because we didn't sell enough. Let's see. Curmudgeon, I have 18 old HEA modules and one GM vehicle. That's successful hoarding, man.
Yeah, throw it in the glove box. And yeah, take the little screwdriver with you, and you're good.
Broke Joker ATV. Tony, another question. You said Mopars don't need traction bars because of where the axle is set. Does this also go for trucks, Rams, Dakotas? No. The cars have asymmetrical leaf springs. So the rear end is mounted, or the axle is mounted 1/3 of the way back from the front mounting point, right? On trucks, it's center. So that's something you need to be aware of. You can treat trucks like any GM or Ford with a symmetrical leaf spring, where the axle's in the center of the leaf. So yes, absolutely, they do need traction. They need some sort of traction device. I actually, for Slaghammer, we built a pinion snubber. We used a pinion snubber from a the hell was it? Ford. It's a Mustang pinion snubber, and it's welded to a plate above the axle. So the pinion snubber, like typically the pinion snubber bolts to the axle on a Mopar. This one, I figured out why we had to do it this way. Several years now since we built this car, but the pinion snubber is actually welded to a cross member above the axle. So the axle comes up and hits the pinion snubber, and it's worked very well. So this is going back to that last question about the HEIs, and he's right. In the 1990s, LT1 engines had OptiSpark under the water pump, which would get ruined when it starts leaking. So yes, that's good, because he was blumping in the 80s and 90s. So yeah, some of the 90s had that OptiSpark, which wasn't a bad ignition
if it stayed dry.
When it stayed dry. Speed Demon wants to know what the hell is going on. Dude, I have no idea. I've been trying to figure out for the last several years, which thing do you want to know what's going on? Because I've been down all of the rabbit holes, like every single rabbit. You name the rabbit hole, I've gone to the bottom of it. So what's going on? I don't know.
And there's no dogs tonight, and usually there's some dog chaos.
Yes, Kathy's got them all quietly nibbling on things, and yes,
they're outside. It's nice out. Yeah.
Paul Bruno is in the house. What's happening, Paul? The man has the nicest classic muscle car grill in all of Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. The 68 Galaxy, which you can see on my channel.
Yes. Mexican Spec is saying rabbit holes have bottoms.
Yeah, it's at the end of the internet. Yeah.
No, I don't want to take photos of saying GM stopped making good vehicles in 1977. I will heartily disagree with you, Mr. No Photo. I would say that the G body and the S series trucks are probably the pinnacle of GM engineering. Right? I think evolution of everything brought them to those vehicles.
And of course, speaking of rabbit holes, people are now asking about prices of silver and things and financial advice for tonight.
This is not financial advice. I think silver's down a little bit today.
Yeah, it's gonna, and then it's always Mondays, yay, and then during the week, yay. So
let's do the metals report. Okay,
tonight's metals report brought to you by
8:05 Central Standard Time. Trading in Asia continues with gold down $42.69 to $4,443.13. That's minus 0.95%. And silver is currently trading in China at $78.49. That's down $2.47 for a loss of 3.05%.
So it was near 80, yeah, in China.
Closed over 80 yesterday.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's our. Wait a minute, I need a sponsor for that.
Yeah. Tonight's metal report brought to you by Monex. See Monex.com and give them all your money.
I see what you did there, Gritty Garage. Okay. Let's see. Ready, Carfano, the Blue Bolt half metric cars were fun. That was my glory days of turning wrenches, man.
Oh, I'm in that half metric hell right now myself.
That's when I was heavy at it. I miss it, but I don't. Like I feel like I've paid my dues. There's one young guy. See, when you get old like me, you start. Everybody's young. Okay, there's one young guy who's a regular mechanic. He's a regular mechanic, and I keep seeing his shorts. Not the shorts he wears. His short videos. Just call me Eddie. That's the name of his channel. Just call it. And this kid reminds me of a younger me. But he seems like really good. You know what I mean? He seems he's on top of it. He's a hustler. He's well versed in every aspect of the world he's currently dealing with these cars. So just call me Eddie. Speed Demon, Bottle Rocket can fetch 18 to 20,000 market prices. Have you actually seen Bottle Rocket?
If someone offered you 20 grand for Bottle Rocket, it'd be good.
No, I would never sell it for that much. That would be ridiculous.
Oh, okay.
That's ludicrous. If I was going to sell it, $5 grand. I'd take $5 grand for the car. No, I don't rob people. I just don't do that. And people were like, they're in the comments on that last video. My goal is eventually to give everything away. I don't want to sell anything. Eventually, Bottle Rocket is going to be given to somebody. Sledgehammer is going to be given to somebody. Everything I own is eventually going to get given to somebody. I don't want to sell any of it, but I don't want to get rid of it yet. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, I still have you know, a little bit of stuff I want to do with them.
And, you get a couple of years left in the channel, and it's all. Yeah.
I enjoy having them around. I enjoy being surrounded by the machinery and all of that. But when the time comes, my goal is to be able to give them away. The only way I would sell them is if I really needed the money to live. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And no, it wouldn't be a raffle. I just want to give them away. No catches. You know, the right person. It's like, oh, here, you look like you could do something with this car. Here, it's yours. That's my goal.
Excuse me, these are yours. Bye.
That's my goal.
Yeah.
This is something. Just something here. Conrad Francis wants to know if you had to build a Dodge Dakota, how would you do it? I have two. I'm 5'7" Hemi, swapping one and doing a small block with an NB 3500 in the other. I think you covered all the bases.
Yeah, I would. Don't forget the turbos, sir, on that Hemi, if you really want to make some noise.
Yeah,
Those are easy to turbo, but that's just me. Have a little twin turbo Dodge Dakota Hemi. Yeah, that'd be sweet. And then the small block one, you could just single carbon drive it around and have fun. But I would make one bananas and one kind of just a street truck.
a low dollar twin turbo 3.9 could be an interesting thing to do.
You really want to scatter 3.9 parts all over the world, huh?
Well, I mean, it's a 318 with 2 cylinders missing. I mean,
yeah.
So you got good rods, and you got good pistons, and you got good head. Well, you can't use the heads, but you got a good valve train parts and shit like that. Let's see. Joker, give it to Jamie. When the time comes, I'm telling you, I'm handing it over here. You know, I'll try to pick the right person for the right car or the right cause. You know what I mean? I've worked very hard my whole life, and you know, I don't need the money. I don't really want the money. I want to see people do stuff and you know, enjoy things. Mo Parquet, she ain't playing, and she's in the house. How you doing, Kay?
Go 2 up from that one, from Kay.
Oh, that one.
The fish
side. I'll find the VIN for my dad's old '69 Dodge Charger that was stolen out of a storage shed in Bakersfield back in the '90s, and you could make videos on finding that. No, you can make videos. That's an interesting thing.
Yeah. Let me track down the hooligans who stole this thing.
Yeah.
Even if it's still around, that's like that could be a long series of videos.
Of course, the chances of you actually finding the car are like slim to none. You know, especially in the '90s, that's when the Chargers really started to catch on. Parts are at a premium, and I seriously doubt even a lock washer of that thing didn't get reused someplace.
Mm-hmm.
Bill,
but you can't.
Thank you for the
bill. We'll talk about that one later. Yeah.
Did either of you ever buy tools off the truck? Mac, Matco, Snap-on, etc. If so, were the pros and cons aside from the obvious price penalty? Go ahead, Dr. Art.
I did. I have a giant Snap-on toolbox.
Oh, jeez.
I bought that because the Toyota dealer that I was working for, they were moving from the old facility to the new one, and they had built Snap-on boxes into all the techs' bays. So all these techs that had ordered new boxes all of a sudden canceled them. So he had a plethora of that big red box that I have. Yeah. I got a super discount on that, along with very small, handful of small tools that were just, Snap-on stuff. But I've never bought like sockets or, things like that. But no, I bought a box off the truck, and that box is, I've abused it. I treat the thing poorly, and it's just like brand new. The guts of it. It's dirty as shit. It's got overspray and buffing compound and crap, paint and crap all over it, but it's perfect yet.
I've never just gone onto a tool truck to buy stuff, right, or be sold stuff. I have bought a couple of things over the years because I needed them, just at the time the tool truck happened to be at my shop. I bought back in the '80s, and I still use it to this. I still have it to this day, and I don't remember what brand it is. It might be Snap-on. It might be Mac. No, it wouldn't be Mac. I have the fuel line disconnect deal, for like the
all the different colors.
Fuel line. Yeah. Right. I still have that. I've had to have had it for at least 40 years. at least. And I bought a Noid set, which I still have, and I think I used it once. But other than that, no, I've always gone for Craftsman stuff, and I'll buy random piles of tools here and there and sort out what I need and give away what I don't. And I've always been like that.
No, besides that one instance, I'm completely too cheap to buy tools off a tool truck.
Yeah, I can't imagine spending that kind of money. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Mexican Spec is saying his 67 Eldorado was stolen in 1988 and never recovered.
Yeah, I had a 69 Mustang stolen in California in 88 or 89, whatever it was. Just gone.
Let's see. Buddy Carfano, my 87 IROC was stolen the day I bought it. I had an 87. If you find that issue of Cars Illustrated, it might be the same one that's got that picture that's in the thumbnail. I also did a drag test on an 87 IROC in that issue. Was it an 87? No, it was an 86. It was 86 IROC, and it got stolen out of my driveway during the middle of the drag test. I did a whole story on that.
No, I don't want to take photos. Had his shoes stolen in California.
Were you sleeping one off? I mean,
yeah, sleeping on the park bench and wake up and you're just seeing socks. Yeah.
Torino Walita saying, I can't speak for the other makes, but the new Snap-on is not the same as the old Snap-on. What is?
Right.
I mean, I have a smattering of Snap-on, like a random couple of wrenches and a couple of random sockets and stuff like that. But it's only because, I bought a toolbox full of tools for like $100 off of Craigslist 30 years ago, and I happen to still have. But I've always done stuff like that. I'm a bargain hunter. I just can't see spending the money. You know what I mean? And it's not that I'm cheap. I'm not really cheap. Like, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I can't see just pissing away money for no good reason.
Yeah, something that's paying 5 times as much because it's got a name on it.
Right. I'll tip the hibachi cook $20, okay? But I'm not going to spend more than $2 for a light bulb, no matter what. You know what I mean? I could need it, and no, I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Tracy, 38.99 is saying, what motor should I replace my Oldsmobile motor in my jet boat with?
Big block Chevy.
Yeah, but then he's got the problem of his.
Oh yeah, the bull pattern. Yeah.
His outdrive is going to be.
Yeah.
Let's go with sweaty fat guy, man. Pontiac. Throw Pontiac in there. I wouldn't. Actually, the Pontiac's probably the best engine for a jet boat. Come to think of it, right? The Buick. I know people think Buick's like really like raw, rugged, right? They're not. Okay, they're actually cast really thin. Buick engines are ridiculously light for what they are. And the Oldsmobile doesn't really like to rev. Out of all of them, the Pontiac's probably the best match for that.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Barry Kuda. I think I remember someone buying a Snap-on Toolbox New Zealand in 1991 for about 10 grand with no tools in it. Is that possible? Yep.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm. If I hadn't got a deep discount on mine, that's about what mine would have cost. but that was in 2010, maybe.
Yeah, I always loved Craftsman. You know, when I needed a tool, my brain, you know, if I had to go buy a tool, right, my brain would automatically zero in on Craftsman, and it was like that for decades. Because they had the best policy. It didn't matter what you did to this tool. You could have, I mean, I returned stuff that was just unidentifiable, right? And no questions asked. You know what I mean? You come back a ratchet and three, you know, like all exploded and bent and shit like that. It's like, no, here, have a new one, right? Oh, it was great. Didn't matter what you did to stuff. Sometimes during the course of doing a job, you've got to destroy a wrench. You've got to heat it cherry red and then
And it
this way and then weld a brace into it so that because now you took the temper out of the metal and but now you can get the job done. Bring it back to Sears. They hand you a new one. No questions asked. Speed Demon, this is exactly why they're going out of business. And unfortunately, I agree with you. I know it's from a business standpoint, it's a bad policy. But man, the customer loyalty, right? I mean, you know, because that would be it. It's like, oh, Sears, they're my friends. Sears loves me. They help me with my tools. I mean, you know, so when I need a fridge, I'm going to go to Sears. When I need socks, I'm going to go to Sears. So, you know. But yeah, it was ultimately a bad policy. And I remember when they started cheaping out, right? Because it used to be ratchets were the big thing because every mechanic explodes ratchets on a regular. That's just part of the gig, right? And they used to just hand you a ratchet, but then they started giving you repair kits.
Rebuild kit for it, yeah. Yeah, there you
go. You see one there?
They're all talking about Craftsman.
Mitten Made Muscle is saying I buy a lot of name brand tools, get a lot off eBay for peanuts. Yep.
Estate sales are really good for that.
Estate sales are the thing.
Yeah.
There's some amazing. Let me tell you, like I really should start scooping some of these things up because I'm coming across like full top and bottom boxes for $300, right? You know, this is like a regular occurrence on Marketplace now because people are dying, right? They're checking out. That's it. You know, Gramps is in the home now. What do we do with this stuff that's in the shed? Oh, just blow it out, right? So there's ridiculous deals on tools. You know, bucket of wrenches, $20. You know, it's like you get one good wrench out of that bucket. You know what I mean? You'd solve one problem with that bucket, right? It paid for itself. So there are some tremendous deals out there right now.
Yeah, the old guy I got those wheels for the El Camino for.
Yeah.
He lives close to the shop, your shop, and he's like, yeah, you know, I got lots of shit. What do you want? You know, he's like, I've had 2 strokes and this and that. And he goes, yeah, you know, get it now or it's, you know, it's not going to be here. But he had cool stuff. He had a dual quad Olds 425 motor and another Olds motor, and he's got some just beautiful, perfect C-body pickups that he completely built himself and painted, and one's all big, tired, and on air ride, and so yeah, he's got real cool stuff.
Where was this?
This is if you're at your shop and you go down under the bridge, under the road, and you go past that Dollar General, next street. After that, you make a what side is this? A left, and you go up about a mile.
By Averitt Brothers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want to meet the guy, let me know.
I mean, why not? It sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Bill McKayska, thank you for the super chat again. If Sears stuck with what they had, if Sears stuck with what they were still doing back in the 90s and had some capital invested in them, they could have been what Amazon is today. I agree with you. Only like pre-90s. Because if you go back to the day, okay, the whole country ran off the Sears catalog. You buy freaking houses. You buy a freaking house through Sears. You pick up the Sears catalog. Oh yeah, I'll take that house. And a truck comes.
Pulls up and dumps up a house, and along with your shotguns. Yeah.
Yes, everything. You everything. So yeah, no, Sears was the original Amazon. Block 7628 Blockbuster had the opportunity to buy Netflix back in the day. Look how that turned.
Yeah.
Picris Burton, I've been in a Sears house. Excellent. I don't think I've ever been in one.
I have a brother-in-law, Bill, which is my sister Lynn's second husband, and he built Sears houses.
Really?
Yes.
How did they arrive? Were they like in sections? Like
I didn't get into it, but he did a lot of still contracting for Sears, and they still kind of do that apparently on some level. But yeah, they just come and they're all the boards are numbered and up. Here you go.
Interesting. Kay is saying, I've seen videos of Sears homes. I have a Sears tack in my duster. Ooh, do you really? Very cool. I can maybe get to work. I'm about to switch it out though, but cool piece. Okay, right? Listen to me. Red to battery power. Okay. Green to the negative on the coil. Black to ground. White to your lights. That's the wiring schematic for that tack. You should be able to hook it up in like 2 minutes to see if it works or not. And if it doesn't work right away, tap it a couple of times on the side.
Yeah. Whatever you do, don't throw it away.
Yeah. Sometimes the rheostat gets a little fuzzy from sitting. If you tap it, it'll not the rheostat, the thing that powers the needle. It's like a rheostat. Buddy Carfano, new old guy who wouldn't sell any cars. When he died, his daughter sent them to the junkyard. Yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
Yeah, the old guy's got 30 cars in the backyard, and the kids come and just call the wrecker service, and they $35 a car, and they haul them away.
Yeah. No, when I know that like it's up, when I know that it's over, you got like that last year or so.
Mm-hmm.
When I die, there will not be a trace that I ever existed. There will be nothing.
Everything's gone.
Right, just a pile of dirty clothes. That's all there'll be left.
Yeah, at your last breath, you'll go hit the delete button on your YouTube.
Yes. I'm in this world, but I'm not of it.
Yeah. Connor Lake Havasu, halfway up. That's just interesting. He's talking about a Sears house. It's a regular house. Was bought in a horse-drawn trailer.
Then lever it onto a prepared foundation. So it was the whole house. It wasn't just like units, like rooms, like modular. It was like, here's the living room, here's the kitchen, and then you bolt it all together and you stick a roof on top of it. It was actually the whole freaking house. They used to bring in by horse.
Bring it by horse.
The poor freaking horses.
Cup Car Steve. Last summer, I bought an 1985 Mustang 5-liter 5-speed SSP Mustang. Had to chase the guy for 3 years before he would let it go. Yep. And he's in Canada, so it's even harder to get him up there, I would imagine.
72Z20. The UTG channel needs to be left up so that years from now it can be referenced for keeping the old Dodges going. Oh, you got Jamie for that.
Yeah,
You got Jamie for that.
Mm-hmm.
No, when my time comes, I just want to like he was never even here. Gone. Poof. Exactly.
Buddy says the only thing that'll be left is hundreds of pairs of glasses everywhere.
Yep. Speed Demon. Tony's forgotten more than Jamie knows. Let me tell you something, Jamie, okay? That kid knows his shit, all right? He knows his shit. Now, he hasn't been around. He hasn't covered as many. He hasn't taken as many rides around the sun as I have. But give him some time, right? He is sharp. That kid knows his shit. He impresses me all the time with it. And I even tell him, I was like, there's just no way. I see you, I see your age, and I hear the knowledge that comes out, and it doesn't equate. You know what I mean? It's hard to believe that somebody his age could have such a thorough knowledge of stuff that was, around before he was born, way before he was born. Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't cut him short, man. Jamie is one in a million.
What cracks me up with Jamie, he has that shtick that he knows that he's doing, and he does it so dry pan, yeah. So deadpan.
Don't tell me I said anything good about
him. Oh.
Yeah. Let's see. Joker, should the magazines you wrote for burn their copies and take down online posts? Yeah, I'm fine with that. Somebody bought the Cars Illustrated name, and they always reprinted like my old stories. And like
they're riding that pony for all it's worth. Yeah,
they're riding it for all it's worth. They put out shirts that they sell them on Summit, right? There's one shirt they put out where there's 3 different cars doing a burnout, 4 different cars doing a burnout on the shirt. I'm driving all of those cars. You can see my face like clearly in a few of them, right? So yeah, I wish they would all just disappear and dry up. I don't, Good night, 72Z28.
Yeah. So, are there any foreign countries that you'd like to take over this week?
I was thinking about Caracas, but I don't really know enough about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to beat you to that one.
I don't know what's going on with that. I have no idea.
Here's my theory. Because Venezuela was in cahoots with Russia and China and all those guys to go to their own currency for oil, right?
Right.
And for one, that's why we needed it. 2, most of the oil that comes out of Venezuela is the heavy crude, all right? The heavy crude is what all the refineries in Louisiana and Texas and stuff like that use to make gasoline. They don't use the medium or the light crude that comes out of all the fracking wells. So to keep the gas supply up, we need this heavy crude, and more people are bringing up this medium and lightweight crude through fracking and new wells and stuff like that, and shoving the ground full of natural gas and pumping out all this oil. But the heavy crude, the stuff that's like tar, molasses, and stuff like that, is the gold that the U.S. runs the gasoline engines off of. So we need all that brought here for the diesel and the gasoline, because that's what all these refineries are set up to refine. They weren't set up to mine like the refineries that are up near Chicago and stuff like that. They refine all the fracked light, sweet crude that comes down from Canada in the pipeline. So we need that heavy crude oil from Venezuela to bring here to make gasoline.
I think it's interesting that you take like someplace like China, right? So they're going to send tankers all the freaking way to Venezuela. How much fuel are you burning? How immense? How there's that? You know what I'm saying? You're using huge resources, burning huge amounts of energy to go pick up, oil from Venezuela, and send it back. What is that? That's got to be like a 20,000-mile round trip or some shit like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's true. I guess.
Hang on. I got to see this. Venezuela.
Miguel Angel CID 7814. Looking to make a road trip in a 1969 Pontiac Tempest 350 from Florida to Tennessee. What should I keep in mind for such a long trip? Will this car handle speeds of 70 miles an hour?
Jesus. The main so the main sea route from Venezuela to China involves shipping from Venezuela ports like Puerto Cabello or Jose Terminal, crossing the Caribbean, transiting to the Panama Canal, and then sailing across the Pacific Ocean to major Chinese ports such as Shanghai, Ningbo, and Sichuan. A journey that typically takes 38 to 40 days. So it takes them 40 freaking days. Well, that's in one direction. Now you got to turn. So that's 80 days. That's almost.
Well, you have 40 ships, so you get every day. Boom, 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 boom. But see, and all that oil that was going to China is now. That's why Trumpy Bear wants to take it all, because he can take all that heavy crude that was supposed to go to China. So now they got to buy it from Russia, and then we have it. So it's a bargaining chip for it's like 4-dimensional chess, way beyond what we could play. So he's having a good time, and you got a super chat from Richard Hayes.
Well, I just want to Dean Stevenson. He says the ships run on asphalt. They have their own processing plant on board. Interesting. So they're running the ships on the most undesirable stuff in the universe of petroleum products.
Yeah.
Okay, so then that makes sense. And you just got to pay the crew. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And Connor Lake Havasu is saying there are over 50 tankers en route around the world right now. Interesting. All right, which one did you say?
You got a super chat from Richard Hayes.
I see that. Thank you, Richard Hayes. Tony, as a young man, I'm very nervous as to where we're headed. I appreciate your wisdom. I want to get off this crazy ride. Richard, my young brother, listen to me, right? It's crazy. We're headed into we're not even headed to uncharted territory. We're in uncharted territory. We've been there for a while, but now the people are starting to catch on. Richard, you don't want to get off this crazy ride. You want to master this crazy ride, okay? And a lot of us are going to be doing it together as it goes forward. I know it sounds like really super vague and shit, because it is vague, but it's a fact, okay? As things move forward, okay? People of our ilk, we work with our hands, we're adventurous, we're industrious, we have entrepreneurial spirit, we have balls, okay? Balls is what it's going to take, right? So your tribe may not be around you right now, but as things get crazier, you're going to see that we're all going to kind of come together on this, right? And it's our people, the wrench turners, the mechanics, and the plumbers, and the electricians, and the people who work with their hands, and all this other shit, and the people with balls, great big huge balls, are going to master all of the shit that's coming. So just chill, and in the meantime, stack resources: silver, copper, cash. But keep in mind, it's going to be worthless.
And find one thing that you're very good at.
Yes, Doctor, I hit it right on it. Yes,
and be the guy who does Kajingas X. And then even if there's really not a super big market for it now, wait till all the people who push paper and type into computers are all unemployed in one day. And you'll be very valuable. Build your skills.
basic transportation is going to be a big thing. Look at other countries around the world, all through history, that have gone through like insane economic, because that's what's happening now, right? This is like a, you know, this is the end of it's the end of the life cycle of our currency, and it's going to play out over the next several years, right? So look at other countries that have been through similar situations, and look at what the thing to be involved with was. So like, okay, so look at Cuba, right? We cut them off, and suddenly it was the fabricators, anybody who could fit this, you know, Buick engine into this Ford, you know what I mean? Or this boat engine into this Hudson, you know, to keep it going. Those are the guys, those are the ones who ruled Bartertown. Nobody ate better than the people who could do that. I remember watching a documentary several years ago on Cuba and Cuban cars. And there was a guy who made windshields, right? There's a guy, he set up a thing to produce windshields in his garage. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying you're going to have to build windshields in your garage, but I'm trying to give you an example of the type of motivation and creativity that comes up when the opportunities that come up when bad economic situations happen. Always know the Chinese word, and the Chinese have been around for a long time, bro. You know, us Europeans, we got like 6,000 years under our belts. They've got a written language, a written culture that goes back 12,000 years. They've been around for a long time, and they know their shit. And the same word that exists for crisis is the one that exists for opportunity. So that's how you got to look at it, right? Crisis equals opportunity. And be ready to seize those opportunities and go at it with big freaking balls. Yes. I hope
be the guy who makes the little $300 scooters run all day, because that's how people are getting around.
Yep.
Yeah, get your, you know, or go down some rabbit hole, but be the kick-ass man at it, and you'll never be unemployed when shit hits the fan. So.
Okay, I'm scrolling back up here. Bobby's, did you see the same one I did? Bobby's in Minnesota starting a daycare next Monday.
There's a good one second up from the bottom too.
Okay.
If you go all the way down.
This one?
Yeah.
Ventures?
Yeah.
Hey, Ventures. Can I use new lifters on a used flat top cam? Yes. I had the old ones marked on a box according to what lobe they came off of, but the cardboard bottom fell out. Did the same thing. Did exactly the same thing. Yeah, you can do it. You have to go through the whole break-in procedure as if it was brand new. But yeah. Literally, I did it last year. I did exactly. I didn't say it on the channel because it was like, well, this is tough, right?
Yeah.
Literally did exactly the same thing, and I had to dig into my stash of old Mopar lifters that I had. Don't have very many anymore. But I started stocking lifters a long time ago. Let's see. Ego death, please. I'd still use the old lifters if they are good. That the problem is the lifters create their own unique wear patterns, right? And a mix match between the two. That's what the break-in period is all about. A mix match between those wear patterns will result in lifters that don't spin fast enough or don't spin at all. And when that happens, it's just
they burn.
They burn up. So no, you just when they're out of order anymore, just throw them away. Don't even leave them around. Right now, I have on occasion when it's one lifter. Right, I've had lifters that were suspect. It's like, okay, it looks like this one's pumping up on me, or this one's whatever, and I will take a used lifter and pop it in there, but only after I check to make sure that it has proper crown to it, because the lifter has to have proper crown. So it's like my chances of 1 out of 16 that this will probably be okay, and I've done that forever, right? But when it's the whole set, no, You know, that's Russian roulette.
Yeah.
Every chamber has 2 bullets in it. Yeah, no.
Well, then you can also take those old lifters and turn them into shotgun slugs too.
Tiki Farley is Uncle Kathy doing better every day, hopefully. She's doing amazing. She has good days and she has bad days, right? That's the way MS is. It's like you never know what's gonna come next. But she's had some rough days, but much better. Like no comparison to the way she was last summer. So even when she's having a bad day now, I can still leave. I can still go about my business and do whatever I've got to do. She can still, even on a bad day, she can still get herself to the store and do everything else. So yes, she's doing really good. And thank you for asking. Let's see, I'm scrolling up here.
Okay.
Very cool. What shit is exactly coming? Oh man.
It's gonna get crazy.
Gonna?
Yeah, it already is.
Bobby Z is saying reface the lifters. Delta is one that does. I mean, yes, they can be refaced, but now your time and the shipping and the cost of them refacing the lifters and then them shipping them back, right? You know.
Buy new ones. Yeah.
Mike's out fishing. It's a nice fish, man. I see the fish you got there. Very nice.
Yeah.
I'm swapping EFI to carb. Should my fuel pressure regulator be deadhead or bypass?
If I have an opinion, doesn't mean.
Yeah, what is it?
If you're still using the EFI pump in the tank, you want to do a return, because if you deadhead to 7 pounds in electric fuel pump, it's going to overheat the pump. If you do the return, the pump won't be stressed and building pressure against itself, and it won't overheat.
Okay, but wait now, because some of the Chryslers are deadheaded from the factory, right?
But they're not. They're not a 40 psi electric pump in the tank pumping to a 7 psi carb. They don't have that much back pressure.
All right. So the on the XJs, they're deadheaded. They're running at 30.
But that's fuel injection. He's going to carb. He's cutting his 44 pounds down to 7.
Right. Okay. All right. Now, also the difference between fuel pressure for a TBI and a port injector, because TBIs run off of a lot of TBIs run off of really low pressure, like 16, 18 pounds.
Yeah.
What about them?
Yeah, he's EFI, so depends what EFI system he has, I guess. But I would just I prefer a return system.
And that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
Glenn Webster only buys his lifters from Temu.
I was talking to a guy. He was one of the guys that came to close down my pool for the winter. And he's got all these old Chevys and stuff like that. So I've known him for years, and he's, oh yeah, I started buying carburetors and things off Timo, and I'm like, oh my god, how are they? He goes, well, they work great. I'm like, okay, cool.
Well, now I have that Chinese carb on the on that 1200, the one that the one I had in the back room.
Yeah.
Okay, and I got the Chinese carb on that, and I shimmed the needle on it. The only modification I made to it is still running the stock jets. And I was just out romping around with that bike today, and it runs good. It runs really, really strong. So no weirdnesses from that carburetor, no nothing. So
because you can buy on Tebow right now a 650 Holley Tribute carburetor for $169.
Yeah,
and same thing. Same Edelbrock Tribute carburetor for $179.
Yeah, I'd stay away from that. I wouldn't buy any automotive carburetors.
Yeah. But I was like, he's like, no, it's great. And I'm like, all right, cool.
Cheney Brian, is that your car on the thumbnail? That was a drag test that I did 40 years ago for Cars Illustrated magazine. And that was the first Buick turbo car in the 13s. I'm not bragging, just saying like it was. Mexican Spec, if you reface the lifter, isn't it shorter than it should be? Yes, but there's enough slop or enough preload. So there's a range of lifter preload, assuming you're talking about a hydraulic lifter, right? And with a fixed valve train. So on an adjustable valve, on an adjustable rocker engine like a Chevy, for example, it doesn't make any difference. On a fixed rocker engine, there should be enough preload in the lifter to compensate. Should be. Cop Car Steve is saying, "Peace out, my friends. I gotta replace a chunk of ice in my igloo." You go, man.
He's up there in Canada, so that's probably true.
Fishside, how old did you write it? 17 or something? No, I started writing when I was 23. So that would have been 1985. And I was in it for several years, and then I got out of it, and then I got back into it, and then I got around it. Now I do YouTube. Wee. Yeah, 23 years old. I'm 63 now.
The one right underneath that Mustang GoPro.
Tio Tony, I have a 3D3 small block Chevy mid-engine Corvair. Very cool. With an estimated 450 horsepower. I have a stock Saginaw Trans. Do you think it will hold up to a slick launch a few times or bust? Oh, dude. Now people have bolted in like full-on Porsches and shit into those.
Depends on how much traction you got, I guess.
Well, he's saying hold up to a slick launch, so he's thinking about dead hooking it. No. No. Don't dead hook it. Drive it out, and it'll live a long, happy life. Not only that, but what the hell is that suspension going to do? Those, I mean, back in the day, I drove a couple of hot rodded Corvairs here and there, and you know when you hit them, they slam down in the back because boom.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, now you want a dead hook like a small block Chevy 450 horsepower small block Chevy. You're just going to freaking destroy that car.
That'd be a cool car to just drive around too. A mid-engine 400 horse Corvair. It'd be a riot.
That would be a riot. Make sure you're going straight.
Yeah.
Straight fat guy saying, no, the Saginaw was the best transmission ever. That's why they were behind Chevys and not Pontiacs. Mike Batista is saying, no, the Saginaw will grenade.
Yeah.
Look, you know, not only that, but it's not, I mean, you guys are thinking in terms of conventional Saginaw transmissions. This is a transaxle. This is a whole different animal. So it's like not only is it the weaker sister, you know, brand wise, but it's its own special, you know, animal. So yeah.
Yeah, until you go to upgrade it, then you got to go to like some kind of German, you know, made get rag something. So I don't know. I'd want to keep the trans intact, I think.
He wants to keep it old school. You can keep it old school, just don't try to dead hook it.
Yeah.
Sweetie fat guy is saying I was being sarcastic. Yes. Yeah. And Betty Carfano is saying that axle shafts will explode. Yeah, they're not the beefiest axle shafts. It's been quite a while since I worked on a Corvair, but yeah. But I do remember we had one of my teachers, like a social studies teacher or some shit like that. I actually went to classes my first year in high school, so I you know. But one of the teachers, I don't remember his name, had a brown Corvair, and it was one of the 4-carb models. And I don't remember what he had done. He had wheels on it. It was like this was like middle 70s, right? So like 77. So it was like still in that period where people were still doing things with those cars, and he would bring it to the auto shop. We would do our stuff to it, and then naturally we got to take it for a blast around Manor Road. And I remember when you come off the clutch on that thing, it would just slam down like boom, and then go forward. KG Kylie is saying Yanko made some nasty Corvairs. Yeah, but not 450 horsepower small block Chevy.
Maybe the engine ones, yeah.
Right.
And Oscar Walton says there's basically nothing back there that'll hold up to 450 horsepower.
Yeah. But you know what, man? Like, walk it out, right? Walk it out. I'm scrolling back up. Sorry, Fat Guy is saying if you can find a 61 through 68 Tempest transaxle, they held up to the 421s running low 11s with slicks. Yeah, but how would that? You couldn't. You're feeding power from the opposite direction.
No, the Tempest transaxle, the Corvair's got the engine behind the front seats instead of behind the rear axle. It's in front of the rear axle.
No.
It's
like
I took it. He did the front engine conversion when he put the small block in it.
No, he could have done it both ways. I've seen it both ways with the engine.
Engine in the back, then the thing you go around the corner, it would just loop, But up front, I think it'd be better.
Now, if he mounted it where you're saying, then he would have had to have used somewhere along the line. They would have had to have used a Tempest transaxle.
Yeah, because you can't flip the Corvair transaxle.
Right. Power Toys lives right near where Yanko started up in Pittsburgh. They built some truly cool shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scrolling up.
Okay.
Oliver saying maybe a Tornado, but I think that would kind of defeat the purpose. The packaging wouldn't work.
Yeah.
The Tornado, the transmission rides alongside the engine, and when you try to stick that whole contraption into a Corvair, there wouldn't be any room for the wheels.
Yeah.
Even on the Tornadoes and the Eldorados, the front wheels had massive offset because the hubs were like sticking out of the car, and the wheels had massive offset to make them fit. So it wouldn't work on a Corvair. Sweaty Fat Guy, another friend of mine, Racier, put a reverse rotation 4.3 in a Corvair. They just took like a boat engine and dropped it in there. That's cool. Let's see. I'm just scrolling up.
Well, that's okay, but look what time it is.
Oh my God. How did that happen so fast?
That just slipped away, didn't it?
Jeez. Did we get abducted? Is this one of those missing time?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, it feels like, yeah, we're here maybe half an hour. Yeah.
Wow. Well, at this point, then we just need to stop, okay? We just need to, we've already overstayed our welcome. So our crazy good mods, they're awesome. I saw a couple that they cleaned house. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Mexican Spec, Fubar. Guys, thank you so much. Everybody contribute. Super chat, thank you. It's never expected, but always appreciated. Everybody contribute your presence and your conversation. Thank you equally. Dr. Art, do you have anything you want to talk about on the way out?
Yeah, I just this week I put up a couple of videos for the Dos El Caminos trilogy. You should all go watch them and share them, and everyone, you should share them, and then everyone can see them in the world.
Yeah.
And other than that, I may have some other news tomorrow, depending on how things go tomorrow. But other than that, watch the videos and come hang out Monday night at 7:00.
That works for me. And that's it. I think I don't have anything else I want to talk about. I think we already covered it.
Yeah, we're done.
Talking for 2 hours, and I haven't said a damn thing.
If you haven't got your 2 cents in by now, sorry guys, come back next week.
Try to leave a like on the way out, guys. It helps the channel. Thank you. And that's it. I'm hitting the end stream button. And
Hit it.
again.
Yeah, let's squash it
Like
like a
that.
bug.